And so I was mad for a while. I didn't buy any Four Roses for like a year and a half.
I've never known you to hold a grudge.
So yeah, you haven't, right?
That's weird.
Yeah. Maybe I just need to let it go, right? I'm 3.5 years now. I haven't stepped foot in Total Wine.
Hello! And welcome everyone to episode 147 of The Mashup, the best bourbon conversation you are going to hear all week long. We're your hosts, Stephen, Kenny, and Anthony. Hello, guys.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening.
Thank you, Tony.
I got my name back. I'm not Tony anymore.
He's done it again.
He's done it again. Oh, my goodness. So it's so nice to be back with you, gentlemen, for another episode of the best bourbon conversation that you're going to hear all week long.
That's damn tootin'.
That's right. Did you say damn tootin'?
I did it.
That's the most Kentucky thing that you ever done in 100 and yes, in 100 and how many episodes?
47 episodes.
I was wondering when that Kentucky was coming out, and tonight it's here. Stephen, props, man.
Mark your calendar.
Mark it down. Mark it down. On this day, Stephen claimed his Kentucky card
with
and
tootin'.
did it. With tootin' and scootin'. So,
scootin'
boogie. Yeah. I mean, a couple episodes ago, we talked about how I knew nothing about country music, and we could have used more research on Chris Stapleton.
That's true. We got schooled, which is good.
We got schooled to the game.
Which I want to bring up. I wasn't here for the episode you guys rebutted on that.
Yes. And
I want to
yes, please.
thank the person that said that.
Right.
Because, we can be taught things.
That's right.
And so I'm glad that they said something.
And now I know that there's a chance that we could actually drink with Chris Stapleton too. Like maybe we run into him at a bar somewhere and he'd be like, "Hey, we're the guys that didn't like your Traveler whiskey, but can we have a drink with you?"
Bartender, round of Travelers.
There you go. Please. I love it now. You're here and I love it. But anyway, one thing that's on my mind this evening, and I don't know how, Stephen, how you feel about this, but I think Kenny and I are probably going to butt heads on this one. Just because I feel like I know both of you decently well.
Then you know how I vote.
What?
Huh?
You're voting?
What? Go ahead. Let's go. I'm ready for you.
You're ready? Okay. So this is something that is probably unique to me, but I don't just care about what's in my glass sometimes. And when I say I don't care about what's in my glass, I do like, obviously, good whiskey like everybody likes out there. But I also like to feel a connection to brands. Yeah. And when I say feel the connection to the brand, I'm talking about okay, what is it that makes me like, a Buffalo Trace product more than a Heaven Hill product? And sometimes it could be something that Sazerac has done, either creating a brand image and talking about it and making me feel that, or it could be something that Heaven Hill didn't do, right? So anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, as you guys both know, majority of the podcasts, majority of bourbon media out there are all about the story of the whiskey that someone's tasting. Here's the master distiller. Here's the damn person that grew the corn.
Yeah, right.
Here's this person. Here's that person. Here's the third shift master taster.
Right.
All these things. And sometimes that's really good. It can make you feel more connection to brand. But sometimes, like in my case, I, for some reason, scan for things, and I think I find the bad. And so recently, without going into naming any whiskey proprietors, there have been multiple instances where I've lost respect for a brand because somebody associated with that brand is out there jabberjawing, putting something out there, answering someone, doing something that actually makes me feel like, look at the brand and go, okay, there's 2,000 whiskeys at Total Wine Liquor Barn. I'm going to spend my money elsewhere. I don't need to support somebody who's saying crazy things or doing crazy things. And so that's kind of the way I am. And I don't know what you guys think. Do you care about the people behind the brand?
I'm going to let Steven go first.
All right.
I'm just biting
He's
my
got a
tongue
big grin on his face.
I've got some stuff to say about this.
Okay, great.
All right, so going back on your last point there, it's like when you meet an artist or a movie star that you like,
right,
but then they open their mouth and you're like, I don't care about you anymore.
Perfect, right?
So going with the brand, being who I am, I would find it very interesting on the actual manufacturing of it.
Okay.
And the process of doing it.
Right.
But honestly, I don't really care about the person doing it.
You don't care?
I do not care. So podcast.
I say donut a lot too.
Donut?
No, I know. I promise you, two for reals. That always
2 for reals
because
donut
because I'm going to say don't, And I say, I shouldn't say don't. I'm going to say
Right.
do not. And it's like, do not.
Don't
do it all the
there you
freaking
go.
time.
No.
All right.
So like, I guess I don't care about like the person, I guess, doing it.
Okay.
I care more about the manufacturing of it because
Yeah.
I find that interesting. And that's the part that's going to stay. But the person that tastes it, I don't know.
So Bernie Lubbers never convinced you to drink Heaven Hill is what you're saying, right? He's
No,
a
it's
brand
like-
ambassador. And, he's the whiskey professor. I pick on him because I'm the professor, but he's the professor, He's
Like,
the
I don't know
whiskey
if I
professor.
say this, but podcasts that have like interviewed so-and-so distiller every week.
Right.
I don't know. I just don't find that interesting.
You were never titillated.
No, I may listen every once in a while, but I feel like every story is the same.
Okay.
And
All
so
right.
it's just
So you're just like blah, blah, blah in
Yeah.
one ear and out the other.
blah, blah, let's get to the how do I make it, blah, blah, and then it's blah, blah, blah about other stuff.
Okay. All right. I feel that. Kenny's got this grin on his face. I don't know what he's going to say. I'm nervous now, Kenny. Whatever. I'm so nervous.
All right. I have 2 parts.
Okay.
Oh.
2 parts.
2 parts.
And don't make me say anything. I know you're probably thinking you're going to put me on the spot. I'm not going to give any names up of who I'm talking about.
I'm not doing
Okay.
anything.
Good.
So I have 2 parts to this.
2 parts.
One part
1, ladies and gentlemen. We got 1.
is the person behind it, the person doing it, this and that. That will make me potentially want to buy more and have a stronger relationship to it.
Okay.
So like Amin and Beth at Old Louisville.
Right.
Salt of the earth, love them. So I'm more likely to spend $20, $40 more on a bottle of, say if it's same basic age, same basic proof, I'm more likely to spend money there. But it also typically also tastes good.
Right.
But, it might be a little more expensive. I did another Russell's pick last week,
Oh.
and Bruce was out of the country.
Oh.
My first 2 Russell's picks were Bruce was there. And honestly, it was not the same not having Bruce Russell, a Russell on the Russell's pick.
Right.
It was so amazing, just hearing him talk about Eddie and Jimmy and just the stories and the history and all that on the first 2 picks. This last pick was good, and it was a really good group of guys, but I was like, yeah. So the person behind it can definitely fuel me
Okay.
to buy more.
Right.
But the part 2 of this is the person behind it does not deter me from buying.
So it can only enhance the experience.
Only enhance. So let me ask you this.
Right.
Your phone is what? What kind of phone do you have?
I have a phone by Tim Cook Apple.
You have an iPhone. And I look down at your shoes. You're wearing
Yeah.
what?
I'm wearing some Nikes and
Nikes.
Jordans. Yep.
So do you support child labor and labor below normal rates and communism and China and all that stuff?
Oh my God, Kenny! I knew you were going to have to go to this place, right?
That's what I'm saying. So that's why, to me, it doesn't deter me. So
Okay.
I'm partially like Steven, where it won't deter me from buying something, but I do have where it will fuel me to want to spend more, buy more from another place. Because
Right.
honestly, that's a very, very incredibly deep rabbit hole. And depends on, I don't know of anybody that once they start, if they aren't selective, once you start in that rabbit hole, you're going all the way through and you're not going to have anything.
You're right. And see, I hate you right now because you've made a very strong point. Because I do use products that are mainstream products that have bad practices in labor and other things. I guess the reason why I'm separating whiskey, and I agree with you 100%. I think a really good example is Ben Holiday, right? I knew nothing about Ben Holiday. We met them at a tasting event. Their master distiller and their accounts manager, they're great people. Do I think that influenced in the slightest bit maybe how I feel about their whiskey? Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
And I don't think it did so in a way that I would say that I liked it more or liked it less because of them. But I do think that I like their brand better because of them. So I do think for me that cuts both ways. And I'm going to give a carve out here and say it's for whiskey. Why for whiskey? Because for me, Apple has 95% of the market share for cell phones, even though you, sir,
Hey, I'm
do not have an
Android.
Apple. He's an Android man. Android man over here. So if you're trying to get a hold of Kenny, you can't because he's doesn't have a modern communication device.
That's why I always say carrier pigeon or
There you
snail mail,
go,
bro.
right.
But I'm just saying it's a
I get
rabbit
it.
hole, bro.
It is a rabbit hole.
It's a deep rabbit
And-
hole,
and
I choose not to draw that line there.
a bit hypocritical, I guess, when it comes to it. But I will just say that if you're an up-and-coming brand, I do think the personas can make or break who you are in whiskey. And that might not be for the masses. It might be unique in a sense. But I just think to myself, like, if someone is doing something crazy or saying something crazy and they have a successful brand, I can be one less person that buys their whiskey, and it may not affect them at all.
Yeah.
But I can at least stand on my principle of saying, like, I don't know. I want to feel good about it. But then again, you're right, because you go back to things like, didn't Heaven Hill strike a couple of years ago because they weren't treating their workers right or something like that?
They weren't paying them right, supposedly.
And I still love Heaven Hill products, so I guess I am kind of a hypocrite, and I think I need to rein myself in.
Well, I was giving you a hard time on that. I actually do see what you're saying, though, because you do have, with bourbon, that is an enjoyment. That's an extracurricular.
Right.
It's not a necessity type thing.
Right.
So I can totally see why. You know what? If in my leisurely time, I can just choose not to support XYZ because this is my leisurely time and this is my time of enjoyment, and I'm going to support somebody that I want to support. So I was just giving you a hard time. I was just messing with you.
No, I got it. I think
but it's a rabbit hole, though,
you do that. What do you think, sir?
No, I guess I'm kind of with Kenny a little bit. If someone's presenting something to me,
right,
I can probably be persuaded to buy something.
Right.
But I guess in general, just thinking about it in the podcast realm, not being in front of somebody.
That's true. And how many people can put different mashed grains into a still?
It is an art. I'm not going to lie. But yeah.
So I guess you need the marketing, and I guess that's maybe where we can find common agreement here, which is this, that it does matter, but maybe it matters more to me than it does to someone else, and maybe it only matters in certain contexts, right? Maybe it matters at a point of sale or the point where you're going to try something, and maybe you don't follow a brand like I might try to follow a brand or someone else might. But I don't know. I just had multiple instances like where
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but I mean, even it goes back.
I'm not going to say anything either because I do like some other people involved, but that was pretty bad what he said. So,
yeah, no, there's a social media thing. We're not going to say who it was, but I go back even farther in my mind to the COVID, right? And I mentioned this on the podcast. I have gone back on my little whatever I had with Four Roses, but Four Roses during COVID, when their barrel strength was still something to have, they did this little phone promotion. Do you remember that? Where it was like you got to call in and you could get up to 2 bottles from Four Roses. And I don't know if you guys remember, it was a nightmare. You couldn't call in. When you called in and got connected, then it would like disconnect you. I can't tell you how many times I talked to the gift shop that they say, we're going to transfer you. I get transferred. I get disconnected. I was mad. I was like, why can't I just get my dang barrel strength during COVID? And on their thing, they're like, well, we're risking our lives opening our distillery to sell barrel strength to these people that are calling in. But I was kind of like, you know what? This sucks. I'm like, you guys could have done a way better job than this, and you didn't. And so I was mad for a while. I didn't buy any Four Roses for like a year and a half.
I've never known you to hold a grudge. So.
Yeah, you haven't, right?
That's weird.
Yeah. Maybe I just need to let it go, right? I'm 3.5 years now. I haven't stepped foot in Total Wine. So
I think we should hold hands and go in one day.
I think we should. Yeah. I think I got to wear a GoPro when I go in there.
GoPro.
Yeah. Everyone else will be like, what's this guy doing? And be like, I'm finally back. And they're going to, we didn't know you were gone at all. But yeah, no, I do. So maybe that's just on me a little bit. I'm a little weird like that. We'll just
but also,
I think we should live stream it on Instagram when you go in there.
There you go.
Well, we talked last week about the bourbon boom, right?
Right.
So it's one of those things where, say, if things are getting meek and things are tough and, a lot of places are not in business anymore or whatever, then, or if you aren't just going to buy anything of it from everybody, that's where someone that did treat you right, is more likely to get more business that way.
Right. Exactly.
Well, boys, I'd like to share another review this week.
That's right. We're so excited because these reviews keep coming. So you keep them coming, we'll keep reading them. The title of this 5-star review is Great Reviews. And this listener said, always find myself refreshing the pods waiting for a new episode. Can count on great reviews and helpful tips on the latest and greatest in the whiskey world. Keeping this Bayou boy from Louisiana hooked on the podcast. And this came to us from Bayou Tiger 504. And that's amazing.
I'm assuming he's an LSU fan.
It sounds like it. I mean, and even though we're some Kentucky Wildcats here, we can safely be appreciative of our listener from down south.
It just means more.
It does mean more. It means more that you're in a fellow SEC program in the country, yet you still like us Kentucky Wildcats podcasters over here.
I wonder if he listened to the JT Mellick episode.
I wonder
if that's what got him initially or something.
It could be. You never know.
That. I also wonder if he's even had JT Mellick.
That's true. If you've never had JT Mellick, we'll plug them right there. They're right in your backyard. You should try some of that Louisiana rice whiskey. But before we move on from this, gentlemen, I have to ask you a question since we're talking about likeness affecting what you might think of people or programs or things. How do you guys feel about Kim Mulkey? And for those of us who don't know, Kim Mulkey is LSU women's coach.
Yeah.
Who wears very vibrant jackets and yells and screams and chases referees and yells at her players. She's a very passionate woman, and nobody's saying anything.
I have no thoughts.
I'm not.
Am I supposed to have a opinion on her?
You guys don't care at all. No. I don't know.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
I saw some headlines where she was in the news for something, but it's like I didn't click on it.
Well, I thought that Kim Mulkey was like the biggest thing in women's basketball since Caitlin Clark. And maybe I was wrong about that. Maybe I thought women's basketball had caught on more than it did.
Well, if you like a review in an awkward conversation, just leave us a review on Apple Podcast or however. Next time we record, we'll give you one.
Yeah. Awkwardness.
I just couldn't leave it alone. I had to screw it up.
All right. So, speaking of carrier pigeon, all the way from the frontier, we have a new whiskey this week.
Cuckoo.
We have a bottle of Bulleit 12-year rye.
Oh, yeah.
Well, very wonderful. The Bulleit 12-year-old American rye whiskey from Bulleit Distilling in Shelbyville. But this one is sourced from Indiana, from MGP. The bottle date is 2024. The ABV is 46. The proof is 92. The mash bill is 95% rye and 5% malted barley. We're just going to keep rolling with that. The MSRP is $59.99. This whiskey, gentlemen, first appeared in 2019, and it's sold out over the course of months, maybe like I would say 6 to 8 months. And this is the first time it's reemerged since that date. And so here we are in 2024 with the reemergence of Bulleit 12-year-old rye whiskey.
Fantastic.
Dynamite drop in, Larry.
I was surprised when I saw it.
I know. And so the way this unfolded, just so the listening audience knows, is I did a double take because Kenny sent me a message and he goes, I just picked up a 12-year-old Bulleit rye from Liquor Barn. And I went, oh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was literally like, what? I was like, can you get me one? And I don't think they had a limit or anything. So you went back, thank you, and bought another one. And so I was sitting there thinking to myself, man, I had a bottle of Bulleit 95 rye, 12-year-old back in the day when it first released. And I think it was like a $40 or $50 bottle then. And then I never saw it again after that. And I don't even remember if I liked it or not. I know I drank it, but I don't remember much else about it. Must have been good.
Well,
yeah. Did they just have the one release?
I think they just had the one release, in 2019.
I mean, it's a big batch because I've seen it, but I haven't seen it in stores a long time, but I saw it. I think it might have been JP had one at his house, and somebody else had one open, and I thought it was really good back when I tasted it at their house, so that's why I picked it up.
Nice.
Well, one thing right off the bat is that it's a different color label than before.
Right.
Yes.
So before it was like a white label that almost
green lettering, right?
Yeah, green lettering, I think, and it kind of looked like. So Bulleit has a 10-year-old bourbon that went away for a little bit, then came back as well, and it kind of looked like that label. And now the label, because that's the most important thing on a Bulleit, because all the bottles look exactly the same. Now it looks like St. Patrick's Day. It literally looks like they rebranded it with this like light green and dark green and white lettering. It looks like
it almost looks like Jameson's Irish whiskey.
It does look a little bit like Jameson's. The Jameson's has that green label, right?
I think so.
Heck yeah. No, so that's kind of crazy. I don't think they changed anything else about it besides the color of the label. I don't think they literally changed.
They changed the color of the label, and now up here, this little ribbon where it says age 12 years.
Okay.
Limited bottling. That was not on there last time either.
Yeah. Last time, though, it was a limited bottling. It just wasn't on a neck.
And if you want to know what the old one looks like,
yes,
Total Wine's website still has the picture of the old one on there. Since they didn't update it.
They never update their
Too
pictures.
busy hoarding bourbon and making customers mad. Update their
Oh,
website.
my God. We're giving a crash course here to Total Wine if they ever listen. There's probably nobody from Total Wine that listens to this, you think?
No.
Probably not. Yeah.
Just your employees.
Well, they hope. Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's just our family. I think just our family members listen.
Man, but what do you guys think? What do you think of the bottle? Do you think that bottle is unique enough that there should be a lawsuit filed about it?
What the other bottles are getting upset?
Yeah, no. So I wasn't going to bring this up till later, but I might as well bring it up now. So we were talking about brands and what brands do, and apparently Diageo, the proprietors of Bulleit, whiskeys are embroiled in a lawsuit that's gone on for 7 years with Redemption Whiskey. And Redemption has a bottle that's a little bit more stout than this, but it does kind of resemble it a little bit. It has like the embossing in the front. And so there's been all kinds of legal mumbo jumbo that's gone back and forth. You can listen to another podcast if you want to hear more about that. But I think it's kind of like strange that they are like trying to enforce a trademark on a bottle shape when you got everybody in bourbon like copying everybody else's bottles.
I mean,
and so
just a Stag Junior bottle, right? Everyone has that bottle.
Yeah, who can fight over a wine bottle, right? Oh,
yeah, especially the wine bottle.
I
There you
know,
go.
right? Mm-hmm. The wine bottle is unique to everyone. So apparently, like what they finally like ruled on a couple weeks ago was something like it dilutes their brand. Redemption's diluting Bulleit's brand, but they didn't find there to be confusion. So that's a little weird. I don't know how that works with trademark, but with trademark, it's always about likelihood of confusion, right? So I can't make like a pizza pocket sandwich, for example, because what's the one's Hot Pocket? Hot Pocket can sue me and say that my pizza pocket is likely to be confused with their brand or whatever. And that's what Bulleit was doing with Redemption. So likelihood of confusion, mumbo jumbo. So I'm likely to confuse this bottle for a leprechaun.
It does. And that's like a St. Patrick's release.
It does. Maybe they did it on purpose. Everyone's going to be drinking that green whiskey this year for St. Patrick's Day.
All the rise.
All the rise. They did make it consistent, though. We've talked about green being rye, and they took that straight up and down. So
That's true. That's true.
So, boys, should we smell this leprechaun?
Yes. I don't know. I hope that leprechaun has a nice, fresh pair of drawers.
Well, this thing smells clean right off the bat.
Clean? Like how clean?
I'm not going to say it smells like clean, but it also has a heavy spearmint note.
Okay. It's a mintiness.
It's definitely very rye on the nose.
Yeah, it's very rye-y. I'm trying to think. You do get a little bit of dark fruit. Dark fruit, I call it spearmint. Piney a little bit. A little piney on the nose.
I got the pine as well.
That's probably where you're saying clean.
Yeah.
Mr. Clean?
Like cleaning products.
Yeah.
It's not going to fill your nose with any kind of ethanol, but it is 92 proof. I don't get a lot of ethanol in it, so it's pretty good. And you know what's funny? As I'm thinking about this, we mentioned previously that it released in 2019. If we're talking about Bulleit as a brand, Bulleit just released its newest product, actually, is their American Single Malt. Have either of you had the American Single Malt from Bulleit?
I have not.
Yeah, that's a brand new thing, like as of a couple months ago, and they're very proud of that. They have it on their website. One thing they don't have on their website is this 12-year-old rye.
Really?
Yeah, I looked.
It's that new, huh?
It must be that new for them coming back that they haven't even put it back out there yet. So they must not be that proud of it, or maybe they're so proud of it they just haven't had a chance to do the full entire branding of it the way they want to. It is kind of weird, though, that they said this was gone or people thought it was discontinued. Now all of a sudden it reemerges 5 years later, and it's still 12-year-old MGP rye.
Yeah. If you do a Google search on Bulleit 12-year rye, like, you know, it kind of like fills in for you like popular searches.
Right.
It's like discontinued. It's like one of the most popular searches, you know.
Right.
Because people have been trying to find it because I think for the money everybody loved it.
Yeah, you know what's funny about that? I don't remember if I liked it or not. And just from the nose right now, it's coming off like something that I would probably, drink. I like MGP 95.5 rye. You getting any other notes from it?
You get some char out of it?
On the nose, I'm not, because I've got some, other ryes over there that are MGP that are 12 and 13, 14 years old. And this is not near as bold. I don't know if it's just because they've proofed it down to 92 or what.
Right.
But I've even got like some of our NBC ryes and Traverse City ryes that are 7 years, 8 years, 9 years old are way darker than this and way punchier. But I don't know if that's just due to the proofs being 110, 115, 118 versus this 92 or what.
It might be. And Steven, you mentioned char. Like I definitely get some oak. There's definitely 12-year-old distillate here. I do think it shows some oak on the palate. I mean, not the palate, sorry, the nose that I hope translates over to the palate.
I think we should go taste, fellers.
You want to go tasting already? I haven't even said anything disparaging about Tom Bulleit yet. I'm just kidding.
Start drinking, and then I'm sure the words will start flowing.
No, I think we definitely need to start tasting this one.
Yeah, because the nose is just nah to me, so I'm hoping the palate's a lot better.
Drink super smooth.
Yeah, it's a very smooth sip. And honestly, for being 95.5 rye, I don't think it's massively rye on the palate. It's
No.
rye on the back palate, but it's
almost
up
like
front.
water.
It's watered down a little bit, but it has some sweetness to it. And the sweetness for me is like a dark berry sweetness mixed with like a little bit of baking spice, maybe.
I feel like
baking spices.
The mouthfeel when you drink it, it comes in super light.
Right.
And it just, I said water, but almost like just, you swallow it, it just goes down like water.
Yeah. Do you get any oak?
Got a little oaky, and I got a little just caramelly on it.
Yeah.
You know, I thought I was picking that up on the nose, but I wasn't 100% sure when you said that.
But so, as we know around here, reading is not our strongest suit. So even though I owned or bought a bottle of this and it says Bulleit 95 rye,
Yeah.
I just didn't even pay attention to the 95 part.
Right.
So when I tasted that, I actually searched to see what the mash bill was.
Right.
Because I can't read here. Because where it has that caramelly on it. I was thinking could have been like a blend of like their lower 51%, 56, whatever percent rye they have. Because it's a little more caramelly than a lot of 95.5s I have.
Well, okay. I think it was you that told me this at some point in time. And if it was you, then you can tell me, oh, yeah, it was me. Or somebody told me this. Maybe it was Mossick. I think it may have been Mossick. 95.5 rye, when it hits a certain age, if it's done well, especially MGP, turns a corner where it becomes like desserty and more caramelly.
It's probably Mossick.
That was probably Mossick, yeah. So they give him full credit. Give him a shout out to him, right? Mossick over on Journey Drinkers. So friend of the podcast, friend in life. He is the one who said that, I think, at some point in time about when 95.5 turns a corner, and he probably had greater descriptors than I could bring up, like that massive sweetness or something he would say, something that would make me want to have it. But I think that's kind of, Kenny, what you probably are capturing there.
It's very sweet and
It's
desserty.
very sweet and desserty.
So you think it's approaching that, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So I think that it is the best case scenario. When I say best case scenario for older MGP rye, I think that's why people seek that out. You know as well as I do. At least I've never had it. It's one of my bucket list whiskeys. But any Bulleit that's over 20-year-old rye that is MGP source usually, those are supposed to be like amazing, aren't they? Aren't those MGP or are they Heaven Hill?
Most of those were like Burnham and Heaven Hill.
Okay. Well, whatever rye that is, it's over 20 years. I've heard those are just amazing.
Yeah. I thought they were there was like Cream of Kentucky or Medley or Burnham and all that stuff, Heaven Hill ryes.
Right. When do you get rye at that age that turns over that's super tasty? And I think that's kind of what I was looking for there.
Yeah.
I want to
desserty, man.
Yeah, it's very. I want to remind both of you gentlemen of something. So I went and canvassed the 2019 reviews just to see what people said. And one of the main complaints of this whiskey at 92 proof was that it was too thin.
Is
that how you're feeling right now?
That's the lightness and thinness of it, I think.
Well, that's what a lot of the reviews that I looked at, there was probably like 10 of them in 2019, and they were all like, oh, yeah, it could be really good, but it's too thin. And I was like, I don't know if that's a proof thing or if it's a mouthfeel thing, because if it's a mouthfeel thing, I actually think the mouthfeel on this isn't terrible, but I get where the proof would amp up the flavors more and make it like, if this was a cast strength, it'd be a dynamic whiskey, I feel like.
I mean, that's not a characteristic of rye, obviously.
Right.
Yeah, so I maybe it's a proofing thing, like you said.
Maybe.
But yes, that's the first thing I said to it. It's very watery.
Right.
So thin.
Yeah, I still think, though, for being 92 proof, it still has a nice flavor to it. More flavor than you get at other, I feel like, whiskeys at that proof point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a little bit. Leaves you want a little bit more.
I'm torn on it.
What's that?
I'm torn on it.
You're torn on it. Well, I started off this discussion tonight or asking you the question about if you care about who the proprietors of whiskey are. So we've been able to do two, at least I've been part of two barrel picks at Bulleit. One with Liquor Box in Georgetown, one with Jackson Wine and Spirit here in Lexington. And great experience talking to Molly, Single Barrel Sis, on Instagram if you want to follow her. Just great people at Bulleit. Good experience while I'm there. But the public stuff that's come out about Bulleit, probably since about 2019, there have been uneven news stories about Tom Bulleit over the years, about the Bulleit brand company, Diageo suing Redemption, things that don't necessarily like make me feel good about Bulleit. But I do happen to like their whiskey, right? So it's kind of like that thing that we were talking about earlier where I was saying, like, does it really matter what's going on with the brand?
And
it's a superstar.
And then they open their mouth and you don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, you don't know, and I don't know. Like, did you guys hear any of that stuff that was going on? Did you care about it? Did it make you feel any different about Bulleit, or are you just kind of like, whatever, they're making good whiskey?
Yeah,
so
I've heard a little bit. And I think with the Ebony Majors, when she left, I heard there was some stuff going on.
That was
there.
a public thing, yeah.
It's in the public. I mean, I guess it didn't really affect me. So I didn't really do too much to me. But same thing with you. I've done a pickup. I only did one pick. You did two. Yeah, you did.
I got to do one with Jackson's.
Yeah,
recently.
I did one, and it was great experience. It was fun.
Absolutely.
Single barrel sis was really cool.
Yeah, and if I'm thinking about it, like all that stuff has happened, or people have said stuff, or whatever it is. But like at the end of the day, what do most people know Bulleit for? They know it as this brand that has great affordable bourbon,
right?
But a lot of stuff that's used as mixers, right? They really cater to the bar crowd, right? In fact, I remember when we had friends come down when I first moved to Kentucky. We had a bunch of friends come down from Ohio. My buddy Seth and a bunch of friends that we had from high school. They all came down for the tournament. It was when we were hosting a regional March Madness thing. They were all down, and at the bar, they all wanted to know what the best Coke mixer they could have, right? Nice. And we said, get a Bulleit and Coke, and everybody loved that. That's all everybody drank the entire night was Bulleit and Coke. And so they definitely
better than Jack and Coke.
Right. It's better than Jack and Coke. We might prefer Jim right. and Coke, but I know that they got a big following there, so I don't know. I don't know if that stuff really matters as much as it would if they were like putting out like, some 20-year-old whiskey that everyone was lining up outside of the distillery for every year. They don't really do that. Does Bulleit have anything like that that's been super sought after that they released that's like a massive, draw to their distillery?
Nothing at all I can think of.
I know
like even 2 or 3 years ago when they had a lot of 11 and 12-year-old picks that they had sourced from Four Roses,
right?
Or they sourced from I can't remember if it said Early Times on there or just said Brown Foreman or something. So, I mean, there was other barrels there.
Yeah.
But even those, like, they were 59 to 79 retail.
Yep.
And, like, they weren't like, people weren't gobbling up and there wasn't like a secondary market for them. Even though they were good, there wasn't that big secondary market for them.
Right. They never had a secondary.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that. Do a timeout on this, guys.
Yeah.
And going back to what you said about mixing.
Right.
Years ago now, we did it. We always talked about a bar cart.
Right.
And it was the premise of the bar cart was to have like 5 bourbons on it, and you would have it out that you could, easily replenish, but you had a different bottle probably for a different thing, like good mixer or good straight, maybe high proof or rye. I would like to ask Kenny.
Okay.
Kenny, if you were to create a bar cart with 5 bottles that you could easily obtain to replenish, what would you have on this bar cart?
Okay. Put me on the spot with no warning.
Watch out.
That's right.
Watch out.
All right. First, I'm going to say is I do not do cocktails or mixed drinks.
Right. But
so do I need to pick something for that, though?
I
don't mind doing that.
I would say, someone wants a Coke or something. Remember, this is probably something for maybe a new bourbon person all the way up to you're having people over that you don't want to run downstairs to get stuff that you can just keep upstairs to easily grab, and people good enough to entertain, but before taking them down to the bunker.
I mean, I definitely have 1910 on there.
Yes,
there you
would.
I mean, like by far 1910.
So that'd be a good straight drink.
It's that's my warm up anyway. It's $60.
Mm-hmm.
Was $50, but $60, 93 proof. Not bad. Definitely have that. I would have to have, I would say the Heaven Hill White Label.
Okay.
A little 100 proofer.
Would you put a makers on there?
FAO2.
But that's not easily available.
It is in my house. No. I know like Makers and Coke is popular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if I did have to have something on there for, somebody to mix with something like that, I would say a Makers on there just for Makers and Coke. But man, that's a good question. A bar cart.
What does Bulleit make it on there?
I mean,
if you had to have a representation of a rye whiskey.
Yeah.
Oh, if we're going rye on there,
would there have to be rye on the bar cart?
I mean, you might want to be interested because
you could
have enough conversation, and you could try this, try that.
Man, but see, I'm
You definitely want a high proof on there. You want like a easy drinker for some easy. You want an easy mixer. You want a rye.
Yeah. Well, like I said, that actually, I might even change it from the Heaven Hill White Label to the Heaven Hill Black Label, because that's 80 proof, a little bit easier drinker, and still actually tastes decent for someone that's new to bourbon.
There you
go. Probably a rare breed, because that's what's a little bit barrel proof. That's like readily available. That's still not
right.
Okay.
Lazareck barrel proof is just where it's not readily available. It's available temporarily, and then they're gone. So I can't put that one on there if you're doing that. But yeah, I'd say so. 1910.
This is outside of Kenny's normal realm, though. Having to go to the store and replenish this.
The thing is, I don't drink. I mean, I drink 2 times a week, usually maybe 3. So like usually when I drink, it's like I drink a little bit nicer stuff. I don't drink just more basic. But I guess for a bar cart like that, I probably have a Makers, because people are familiar with it.
It's very approachable.
Very approachable.
Premium prices.
So 1910, a Makers, probably Heaven Hill Black Label, just because the bottled and bond, I mean, it's a good bang for the buck. And then probably a rare breed. That's 4. And I guess I would need a rye. Honestly, man, for a rye, based on what we've had, that Old Forester rye, dude.
Yeah. Oh, that's killer.
Wasn't it 30? It was $30, killer. Right?
It was less than that, 25.
Yeah,
was
it was
25? 25, 26
I forgot about that. That's an awesome pick.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that was really good.
And that's easy to get.
And I'd have to go Old Forester rye.
That's a good one.
There you go.
Way to kill it.
Because
fantastic.
Man. Gosh, and see, why'd you have to say that? Because now that I'm thinking about Old Forester rye, it's going to make this at $60 a very hard,
very tough one.
Oh, man.
Actually,
you know what?
It's making it tough.
You know what? Now you're messing with me now.
Oh, it's making it tough.
As we're getting ready for Pass Try By, though, I need that bottle back, so I need a little bit more.
Man, that's a good question. That's, bar cart.
As long as nobody puts me on the spot about my bar cart.
Yeah, the thing with bar cart we always talked about was like, having stuff, for different types of drinks. Yeah. You don't bring people to the bunker that don't need to be in the bunker. You can replenish it easily.
And honestly, I almost said Woodford Double Oak. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, that is dessert bourbon,
right? And
someone that's newer to bourbon, would like that. The thing about the reason I didn't say it is because it's not always available. I mean, personally, I would probably replace the Makers with a Woodford Double Oak.
I remember I had
more readily available.
I remember did I have a cask strength Makers of mine?
Yes.
Yeah.
Makers cask is not bad either, man.
I have to go back and listen to remember what I had on my bar cart. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But then again, Makers is so prominent for mixed drinks.
Yeah, it is. So you hate to do it with
I would have to have a Maker.
You would have a regular Makers versus a cask strength. Because I enjoy the cask strength as straight, but Makers straight I don't really like.
Yeah, I'd have to think about that again. That's a good question.
All right.
You went back in for another pour?
What's up?
You went back in for another pour.
I did.
Where are you at, man?
Well, I can tell you where I'm at. Are we ready? Is it time for the Pass Try By?
All right, guys. Would you pass, try, or buy on the Bulleit 12-year rye? That rhymed.
All right. I'm going to try to cloud your judgment, gentlemen. So here's where I'm at. I am going to be a very, very, very strong try. Okay. Strong try because I think if this is available, I will probably buy a couple bottles to keep it around, knowing that it might be gone for a while. But I don't know what Kenny's doing. He's up walking around.
You know what he's doing.
I know he's trying to do.
You know what he's doing.
But I think I'm going to be a very strong try on this, and I'm not going to waver from that, I don't think. I actually was really close to a buy. And the reason I was close to a buy is because I think this has a lot of characteristics, things that I like. And, I mean, it's a very approachable rye, nice age, turns a corner, just a lot of good things about it. So... Oh, my God.
I mean, dude, I blame Steven, okay?
No.
Steven brought it up. I blame him.
All right.
No, I blame myself because I had my answer until this just
Pass it over here.
Pass it
question that I was very curious about.
No, that was a great question.
Because you have very, very high-end collection.
Yeah.
And it'd be hard to dumb it down to what a bar cart, should be. And I'm glad. I love your answers, but because of your answers... And the review we had on the Old Forester rye, my mind had to immediately go to that episode and think, holy crap, I have to change my answer.
Yeah. And Anthony, you
So-
just poured you this. Do not drink it.
I'm not having any of it yet. Don't drink it yet?
Don't drink it at all.
Why? Do you think it's going to change
It's
my
going to
opinion?
change your answer.
Okay, well, here's the thing. So the listeners, here we go. Okay. What Kenny did was he got the Old Forester bottle from a couple episodes ago, and he put it out on a table. So we now all have Bulleit 12 and Old Forester 100 proof rye whiskey in front of us.
Bulleit 12-year, 92 proof.
Right.
Old Forester 100 proof rye, and this was not age stated. Was that right?
It's not age stated.
Okay.
Rumor is around 4 years old, but not age stated.
And I want you to look at the color difference between the Bulleit and the Old Forester. How much darker the non-age stated OFO is.
OFO.
Old folks.
Actually, no, that might have been the angle. Color's pretty similar, right? Or is that just my angle?
No, it's at first I was with you. The OFO was a little darker, but now they're
think it's about
together.
the same.
Yeah, they look about the same.
All right.
All right, you want to go, Steven?
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I was teetering on a buy minus on the Bulleit rye because I thought it was watery, but I I just enjoyed the
was
drink.
enjoyable
It
still.
was enjoyable. I was like, there's some flavor in there. It's only $60. I could be, I'm fine with buying it. It was 12 years, but now that I'm drinking the Old Forester rye, there is a little bit more sweetness, I think, in the 12-year versus the Old Forester. So if that's something that you like,
I think this one comes down to what you're going to say is it depends on your preference more.
right? But man, that Old Forester rye is good. I think off that, it's 2.5 times cheaper.
That's true.
Than the Bulleit, and it's easy to get. I think I'll be a try plus.
All right.
I think I'm about to just take it down a little bit from a buy minus to a try plus.
Still a try plus. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Kenny, how do you feel, sir?
It's good, so I can't be a pass.
Yeah. Exactly.
I can't be a pass because it's good. If you are a big 95.5 fan, then I would probably do a buy on it.
Okay.
If it were 100 to 105 proof, then I think I'd probably even be a buy, maybe myself.
Okay.
But I'm going to have to go with Steve. I'm going to be more of a try on this. Is that what you said too, was try?
I was
Yeah,
trying.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I guess because based on the price tag, it's not going to be an expensive pour at the bar.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm
It's almost like if you
I'm
like
gonna
that-
try minus to almost a pass, man. It's gonna sound bad. I don't want to pass because it's not bad.
No, it's a good drink.
Right.
But when you got a $25
That you're having to
versus
butt
a
heads with
$60,
just to come up with an answer.
oh,
Man.
it's rough.
It's take it on this. If you like that spearmint sweetness a little bit more,
Yeah.
then maybe go with the Bulleit.
Well, to me, you know what the big differentiating factor is? We know Old Forester is probably a lower rye content.
Yeah.
And I think that it shows a lot of citrus notes, almost like lemongrass flavor to it, that is a very appealing, bright flavor that you don't really get in the Bulleit. So to me, as a rye person, I'm worse with the regular bourbon. That's where I'm actually the worst with regular. To me, these are two different whiskeys, but I like them both for different reasons. And it's really tough when Old Forester's sitting on the shelf $25-$26. But I still think that I am a try, and I do want to get maybe one or two of these Bulleit 95 12 years just to have, so I have them as backup, so I don't get caught flat-footed like last time. So
Okay.
I just think it's a little different sip for me.
They truly are different. I think the Old Forester could even be just where it's probably a 56%, probably at the most.
That's what I was
rye.
thinking. Yeah.
I cannot be a buy because, for me, I'd rather drink the Old Forester with some of the bourbony, caramelly notes it has, a little bit deeper, darker.
Preach on.
But I still can't be a pass, though. I just can't be a pass because it's actually good still. Because 12-year age stated, this still tastes good. So if you're a 95.5 person, you should be a buy.
Yeah.
If you just enjoy 95.5s, you
Yeah.
should definitely be a buy, I think. But my overall answer is going to be try.
I do like the brightness
Okay.
of the Bulleit though, compared to the Old Forester.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it might be the 95.5.
It's going to sound weird, but that extra 8 proof points makes that Bulleit just a little bit, quote unquote, smoother and easier to drink too.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you're wanting to pour you several fingers thick,
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
No reason. And Tony?
Yeah,
Dark.
But if you
Dark
pour yourself
hearts.
several fingers thick
Yeah.
and sip a bunch of it, like throughout the day, then you pour more and just kind of out sipping. I could see that being something you could like sip on, throughout the day or summertime, or you're outside hanging out.
Gotcha.
Whereas that, believe it or not, that extra 8 proof points, that little 100 proofer, probably gets to you a lot faster there.
Put some cubes on it.
I do have a question for you fellas.
Sure. Go ahead.
Since I've not listened through the whole catalog,
Right.
did y'all y'all did early times, right, before?
Yes, we did. But when we did early times, the early times we did was the foil cap early time. So it was after the switch.
So it was after the switch.
It was
Okay.
after the switch, yeah.
Because I do want to bring it up. It's so good. 3 times in the last 2.5 weeks.
Right.
No, twice in the last week.
Yep.
And then 3 times within the last probably month. Big gathering, big get-togethers, a lot of good premium stuff. I mean, premium stuff being thrown around.
Premium.
Not just for me. I mean, I was at a bottle share event week before. You mentioned, I saw your buddy Bob. One of the guys up there, I'm not going to say his name. I mean, he opened literally a $4,500 bottle, and there was some, $2,500 bottle, and blah, blah, blah.
Wow.
It's good to have friends that, enjoy the spirits.
How do we get those friends?
But
Not friends in low places.
so,
They're not.
but man, we poured a lot of good stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, got a blind for everybody. Took it out, poured it, boom. Poured it for 5 different people, man. Everybody loved it, did this, da, 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 da. It was the early times bottled in bond, man.
The black cap.
The black cap before the switch over.
The Brown Foreman
but
one.
I've done that 3 times to people now in the last, say, month. And, man, so you can probably still find those out there for $45, $50 secondary. I'm just telling you.
And with that,
man, I'm telling
though,
you.
and with that, you've inspired an episode. So while we might all be tries on this Bulleit 12-year-old whiskey, I think the next time we get together to record, each of us needs to blind each other. What do you think of that?
Ooh.
I think that would be a great episode. What do you think, Steven?
Be quite the mystery.
I think we should do that one time. We should each blind each other and figure out a way to do that, and then that way, this kind of hijinks that you're talking about with early times, then we'll know to be looking for it. But anyway, yeah, I think it'd be great.
All right, so just to recap, I'm a try for me personally.
Yep.
And if someone's a 95.5 person, I think they should buy.
And
are you a try minus? Or no, you were
A try plus.
Try plus.
Yeah. I'm close to a buy,
Close to a buy.
yeah.
And Anthony, you're a buy then, right?
I'm a try, but I still want to have 2 of these in backup. So I'm a try buy.
No.
Why?
If you're going to go buy some more because you want backups, you have to be a buy.
Okay, then I'm a buy.
Right?
Yes,
no?
I'm a buy.
Am I right or wrong? Come
You
on now.
are. Yes, I'm a buy. I'm a buy.
right.
Yep.
All right.
I'm a buy. Thank you for keeping me true.
And with that, thanks for listening to this week's edition. Please like and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Mashup KY.
Don't forget to visit our partner, bourbonoutfitter.com. Enter code The Mashup for a special discount.
Also, let us know your thoughts on this bottle in the comment section. Until next time, keep it neat.